and welcome to Inside Boxing's Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez, Stephen Johnson, and this week in this first segment, we're gonna talk about the fights this weekend. Okay, spending most of our time on the heavyweights. Of course, we had over the pond on the other side in the UK, we had
Dillian Whyte.
Dillian Whyte, and he fought, of course, Lucas Browne.
Yes.
So
Lucas Browne from Australia.
From Australia. So it was a good fight. Give me your take on that. We know that it went 6 rounds, but we both saw the fight. What did you think?
I thought that Dillian Whyte was impressive. You know, you got to remember he's only lost one fight though. That was Anthony Joshua. Mm-hmm. Joshua knocked him out. Okay, but he's only lost that one fight. What I found interesting is that I thought that Dillian Whyte, I said last week that I thought Dillian Whyte would win. I didn't necessarily know if he was going to KO him because Lucas Browne was undefeated. But as everyone got to see, Lucas Browne looked fat and out of shape. To be honest, he did. He just looked fat and out of shape. So I'll give Dillian Whyte his credit. But what I found very interesting, it still cracks me up, man, is that after the fight, Dillian Whyte and Eddie Hearn just both went out calling out Deontay Wilder, you know. And you have to know this is going to happen with Wilder. I'm going on record right now, just jump a little ahead, saying Deontay Wilder won't do that. But Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte both said, you know, Eddie Hearn said June the 2nd. He said June the 2nd in London. He's ready to go.
Well, I read some on Eddie Hearn's so we'll talk about that. But anyway, the fight itself. We're talking about the fight itself.
You talk about the fight itself.
Okay, we talk about, what I'm saying is, okay, Whyte did look good. I think he looked good and impressive in the ring. He had some movement, and he applied the pressure necessary, and he had some pretty good punches. I mean, he actually looked like he wanted to get back in that mix with the trio of boxers now, and he went in that ring. Both fighters obviously knew that winning this fight was going to put them back into the mix for the big money.
True.
And it shows that Dillian Whyte came out and he showed his skills. He showed that he had his skills. He showed that he just outclassed Lucas Browne. Lucas Browne, of course, like you said, looked like he was out of shape. But you know, that's not uncommon for heavyweights. Heavyweights usually come in big and sloppy because they usually count on one punch. And obviously, Lucas Browne was counting on getting them heavy shots in one at a time, and Whyte just wasn't going to have none of it. So I mean, the fight turned out to be pretty good, and you know, in the 6th round,
he put him to sleep.
Caught him with the. There was no question. He was flat on his face, knocked out, put to sleep. They had to rush into the ring to kind of. There was a concern there. It wasn't just like it was a knockout. He was out. So obviously, you're right. He made a statement. But I did want to just talk about how impressive Dillian Whyte looked in the ring. Okay.
Well, and I think if you want to say one thing about Dillian Whyte, I don't think anybody will dispute that. You figure that Dillian Whyte was almost a carbon copy of Luis Ortiz, but the difference is Dillian Whyte's 29 years old and Lucas Ortiz is 38. Okay, and Luis Ortiz is a 38-year-old Cuban, which sometimes we know he means he could be 48. I mean, that's just the reality.
Right.
You know, we don't really know, but he went in and handled his business, and like I said, they're jumping ahead of it though, man. The way they went after, they want Deontay Wilder, called him out. He won't go for that, but Eddie Hearn also said in the press conference, he said that a fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder will happen sometime mid to late 2019, which means that both fighters have to fight somebody in between.
And I think that's the plan, because you were saying that I also read on the internet where Eddie Hearns had said after Parker, Wilder will not be Joshua's next fight.
Yeah.
And he was he just said, let's put that to rest. He will not be his next fight. So so that won't happen. So Wilder, he's got to just sit back and wait to see what happens over on the other side, or else he can take another tune-up here. But after that fight, and I agree with you, after that fight with Ortiz, because let's face it, anyone that saw that fight saw that Wilder got a little help from the officials. Okay, he got a little help. Okay, he got a little help.
I'm sure that's why Eddie Hearn and White are after him.
And I think they saw that, and they saw that, and you make a good point. Ortiz, 38 years old, a Cuban, one of the outstanding Cubans in the heavyweight division, coming out from that amateur program out there, and it showed.
I think really the biggest thing is that what I saw about Dillian Whyte last night, like I said, yesterday afternoon, because we watched it live, but I don't think that that's a real indicator of how a fight with him and Wilder would go, because Wilder, I saw he could just take 2 or 3 rounds and just pepper him with jabs. Just jab, get him off where he can't plant his feet and land that bomb. And then Deontay Wilder could start swinging that punch, as you say, from Mississippi, from Alabama, and wow him around and go ahead and take him out. But he's, like I said, that difference in age between him and Ortiz, I don't know, man. He's not going to go easy. And if he hits Wilder, we've seen, in the tapes before of him sparring with Klitschko, where he gets hit on the button, he starts doing the stanky leg, and I don't know, it'll be interesting to see.
Well, they need to be careful because, everyone looks at Wilder and everyone talks about, well, he's too wild. He throws them Mississippi punches and wild and stuff. So people are using that as an attack and against him. I says, but they need to be careful, because if they're going to judge their fights to fight Wilder based on his wild punching, they're going to lose. They're going to get knocked out. Wilder knows one thing. He knows how to use his jab, just like you say. He knows how to keep the other fighters at distance. And he does throw the wild punches, but he knows when to throw them.
When he's got full attack mode.
When he's got the fight under control and he's got the other guy hurt, that's when you're going to see the Mississippis. And by all means, that's when you should throw them in the fight.
He knows how to close.
So he knows how to close the fight. So if you're basing it on him not having no talent, you're going to get knocked out.
Okay. Like I said, we all know he's got some chinks in his armor, but in the fight is not one of them. Real quick, let me just talk to you. We had the fights on ESPN last night. Santiago Martinez, the second fight that they've had, super bantamweights, another draw. I think is at this point, there's no need in having a third fight. If you judges can't see a winner in this fight, and both times similar, two judges see one another, the third judge sees it to draw. Those two are just to draw. But more important is the fact that Oscar De La Hoya running his mouth over there in Puerto Rico, bragging about, all that he's done and all. Now, like you said, him and Miguel Cotto are the best of friends and all this nonsense. I'm over him. I'm truly over him. Well, you take a minute and talk about him.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't even finish watching the show, the ESPN show. I don't know how ESPN even allows shows like that, because the show was not interesting. It was not
exciting.
It was not exciting. It was nothing. I actually changed the channel and watched the replay here in the United States of White, just to watch it again. Okay, and that's a sad commentary. Okay, when you got something live going on. Miguel Cotto needs to continue doing his own thing with Cotto Promotions, because he's known to put good, high quality shows, exciting shows on, and this show that he combined with Golden Boy was no good. It was no good. You can't go on putting these kind of shows on. It just was not a TV worthy event, And now with ESPN moving on in their platform, where they're going to actually start charging for all their boxing. Okay, they better better the programs that they put on if they're going to think they're going to start charging the public, because I wouldn't have paid anything for that. It was free, and I had to change the channel.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think that one salvation you have for ESPN, remember they've got that contract now with Top Rank, and Bob Arum, he will. Put some.
Well, look at the shows. Look at the shows that Top Rank puts on ESPN, and look at the shows that Golden Boy. See, Miguel Cotto was just a co-promoter with Golden Boy, because Golden Boy has the contract with ESPN. Okay, so and then every 30 seconds every 3 minutes when they went into the ring, they had a commercial of Canelo. Man, he's all into boosting this Canelo. You know, we'll have to talk about that in another segment, but we need to talk about that, how that preferential treatment is going on with Canelo being caught. And I say caught because he did show up dirty for clenbuterol.
Yes.
Okay, so you can try to protect him all you want. The fact is, he showed up dirty.
And for those people who want to defend, and I've seen a lot of them defending, Canelo, just real quick, a lot of people defending him, there's no defense. It's a banned substance. Everyone knows its capabilities. It's banned.
We'll talk about that in our third segment, which is open topics.
Okay, now our second segment, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in our second segment. Radio, I can't wait to talk about this, and you can't either. We're talking about this fight coming up next weekend over in the UK again, where we have world heavyweight title fight between Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker from Australia. Australia's, they got some guys, but anyway, we'll talk about that.
Anxious,
because that used to be your boy. But refresh your coffee. We'll be right back.
So then, keep them hands